Hi friends on the internet, I'm Cynthia Whitman and thank you for joining me here on my journey as a brand new reseller online for the last 2.5 months. And a special thank you to my 17 new subscribers who have followed me here on YouTube since I made my first reselling video. Thank you so much for being here. Today, I want to talk about how to turn your clutter into cash and my method that I have been using to declutter my home and make a profit while I do so. So if you're anything like me, the thought of decluttering your whole home can feel so overwhelming, and it gets to the point where you just don't want to do it because it seems like too much of a task. But you know you have things around your house that you don't need, that you don't use, and if you sold them, you could make some money to use for the things in your life that you do really want and do really need. So the last month or so, I have been decluttering my house, and I want to tell you about the method that has been working really well for me. So what I have been doing, rather than thinking I'm going to declutter my whole house in one go, I'm going to do it all, that's too much. I have been going room by room, and not even room by room, section by section of each room of my house, and just decluttering one little section at a time. So one night after work, I might say, okay, today I'm going to go through everything but where I have my washer and dryer for my laundry, above those, I have some cabinets. So that night, I'll just say, I'm gonna go through those cabinets and look in everything in those 2 cabinets above my washer and dryer, and that's it. That's what I'm gonna declutter tonight after work, and then the next day I'll do something else. So I have been doing room by room and section by section. So it might be, today I'm gonna go through my bathroom. Today I'm gonna go through my closet. Today I'm going to go through just one cabinet in my kitchen. And if you break it down like that into smaller sections, it feels so much more manageable. And you get that nice feeling of, if you're anything like me, I love doing this, where you can cross something off of your to-do list, off of your checklist, like, yes, I achieved that task today. And if you break it up into smaller pieces, decluttering your home can feel so much more manageable. And so I'm not even finished with my whole house yet. I started out by doing my living room, then my kitchen, then my garage, then my bathroom, my closet, my bedroom, and then that area I was talking about above my laundry. And then I still have some more spaces left that I haven't even started going through yet. But breaking it up into those smaller chunks has been so helpful. And what I've been doing for each chunk of my home is I will, whatever area I've chosen that, say it's my bathroom, I will look through everything in my bathroom and ask myself these questions. I will look at each item that I have and I will think, sort of using the Marie Kondo, if you guys remember, that was very popular a few years back, but I have my own sort of take on it, where the Marie Kondo was, does this bring you joy? And I do think that is important, because it is important to have things in our homes that bring us joy. But I also ask myself, so does it bring me joy? And or is it useful? Do I use it? Because sometimes something might not necessarily bring us joy, but it is a useful functional item. Also, maybe it doesn't necessarily bring us joy. Maybe it isn't something that we use regularly all the time, but would I potentially want to use this in the future? And if I didn't have it, would I want to buy it again? Because if we're going to get rid of something, if we're going to declutter, we're going to get it out of the home, it has to be something that we are confident we don't ever need that thing. We're not going to want to buy it again and spend more money to replace it in the next season. Oh, it's Christmas time, I wish I had this thing. Or, oh, it's summer now and I need that thing that I got rid of. We don't want to do that. We don't want to spend more money to replace things that we already have. And then, if it doesn't fit any of those things, then we get rid of it. So to make that more clear, I brought some examples. So, first of all, is something that does not bring you joy. It doesn't light up your soul. It doesn't put a smile on your face, but it's useful. So for me, an example of that is this plain blue hoodie. This does not bring me joy. It does not make me a happy little soul, but it's useful. I wear this hoodie a lot of times when I'm gardening. I can get it dirty, I can get soil on it, I can get water on it. It protects my arms from the sun, so I don't have to put sunscreen on my arms. Sometimes if I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to put sunscreen on my face, put up the hood, protect my head, protect my face from the sun. It is a useful, functional item. So I don't want to get rid of this because I use it, because it's functional. So even though it doesn't bring me joy necessarily, I'm going to keep the hoodie. An example of something that brings me joy but is not useful is my scrubbing bubble squeaky toy. Not useful at all. It serves no purpose. It is a marketing mascot squeaky toy. I have had this little scrubbing bubble in my bathroom as home decor since I was probably maybe about 9 years old, and it just makes me happy. It is cute, it is silly. I look at him when I brush my teeth, when I do my makeup, when I do my hair. I have him sitting right on my counter in my bathroom. He just brings me joy. I'm gonna keep him, even though he's not useful. He makes me happy. Then for the, I don't use it all the time, but I might want to replace it if I got rid of it because it is useful and it's a good item. Sort of that middle ground, you have to be discerning. Example of that for me is this ice cream maker. I don't make ice cream very often. I'm not regularly making my own ice cream, but I do occasionally, every few years. Maybe, someone gives me some fruit from their yard and I want to make sorbet. Maybe I'm having a friend over who's gluten-free and I want to make them a homemade dessert that doesn't have flour in it. Maybe I just have a hankering for some ice cream. Every now and then, I do use this. I have it up on a high cabinet. I don't take it out very often, but I feel like it's something that'll last the rest of my life. It's good quality, it's sturdy. I might want to make ice cream at some point in the future. So for me, this one is a keeper because I might use it. I feel like it's worth saving it because there's a chance I'd want to buy another one and replace it down the line if I didn't keep it. So that's that category for me. And then the last category, things that do not bring you joy, that are not useful, and that you don't see ever using. For me, an example of that is these shoes. I bought these shoes because I thought they were cute. They're denim color, they'd go great with jeans. I wear a lot of blue, as you can tell, and they looked comfortable. I thought these were shoes that I could wear if I wanted to look a little nicer than sneakers, a little nicer, a little fancier than sneakers, but still casual and very comfortable for walking. Turns out, after wearing these shoes about 5 times, they give me blisters. They give me horrible blisters. They just do not work with my particular feet. And they hurt. They do not bring me joy, and they are not useful because they do not serve the purpose of being able to walk in them. So these shoes, I'm gonna sell. So hopefully that is helpful as you go through each section of your house. I like to do sort of one section a day on days that I have time. You don't have to do it every day. This can be a drawn out process. Work with your life, work with your schedule, and go through one section and think about all those questions when you look at each item. I do not take every item out of where it is stored. I have my things organized in a way where if I open a drawer or open a cabinet or open a storage situation, that I can pretty much see everything in there and just look through it. And I know some people for decluttering recommend taking out every single item and literally holding it or putting it all in a pile. I think that just takes up extra time. So I just like looking through, and I can look at each thing and sort of ask myself those questions in my mind as I do it. So then the next step, once you decide what you want to get rid of, is to sell it or see if you can sell it. So what I did with everything I decided I don't want to keep is I would look it up on eBay and see if there's a market for it. And even if you don't think there's a market for it, if you don't think anyone would want to buy it, look it up and see. And if you know what the thing is, like these shoes, I could just type in, Dansko, the name, the brand, the style, and see them on eBay. But if you don't know, like say you were looking up scrubbing bubble and you didn't know necessarily what to call it, use Google Lens. If you get the Google app on your phone, and you can snap a picture with Google Lens, and then it will pop up with all the search results of items matching that photo, and then it will come up. So you can look it up on eBay and see if there's any market for it. And you may be surprised the things that you think there is not a market for, but there is. So you can take your trash and turn it into someone else's treasure. In my previous videos, I talked about some things that fit that category. The most exciting ones for me while I was decluttering was I sold a bunch of yogurt containers that were from the La Fermier yogurt, where they come in these little ceramic pots. And I have now sold 5 of those. I sold a set of 3, and I sold a set of 2 yogurt pots on eBay and made a profit on what I would have considered trash. I also sold the empty box that a pair of Prada sunglasses that I used to have came in. Not the glasses case, just the empty box, and I sold that. And some of these things you might not get a lot of profit for, but in my mind, if you just make $7 or $8, $9, $10, that's great. That's a pastry, that's a cup of coffee, that's a snack, that you can use it. So for me, it's worthwhile to know that your clutter is going to a new home of someone who will appreciate it and love it. It's not going in the landfill, and it's being used by someone, and you make a little money and can go get yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something that you'll enjoy. Another thing I wanted to talk about that is a great source for reselling from your home of things that you may not care about, that may not bring you joy, are free gifts with purchase. Sometimes when you buy something in a store, you get a free gift with purchase that you may not have any particular interest in or desire for. It wasn't something that you were seeking out. You wanted that item, but you got it. It was free. And so whatever you sell that for, you're making a profit because you got it for free. So I so far have sold a makeup bag that I got as a free gift with purchase, and a makeup sponge that I got as a free gift with purchase. And one of my best friends and I were talking about this, and she has sold a bunch of free gifts with purchase as well. I also, last year, before I was even really focused on reselling, I sold some pillowcases that I got as a free gift with purchase at an outlet store. They were big, long pillowcases that just didn't work for my home. And I was able to sell those on eBay as well. So free gifts with purchase, I feel like, are a great opportunity to sell something that you might not have any attachment for or desire to someone who would be thrilled to have it. That makeup bag, I got really nice feedback from the buyer who was so happy to have it. And it was just sitting in my bathroom. I didn't care about it at all, and now it could be with someone who really loves it. So that feels so special to me. Another thing I wanted to talk about is presents and not feeling guilty about selling presents from people. That has been hard, and also things that you inherited from loved ones who have passed. Because that's been hard for me as I've been decluttering, is there are things in my home that I received as presents or that I inherited where I felt like, oh, should I get rid of this? My dad gave me this and my dad loves me so much, and would he be hurt if I got rid of this? Or, I inherited this from a dear friend who passed away. Would it be an insult to her memory to sell it? And at the end of the day, my feeling is that you want those things to be with someone who's going to love them and appreciate them. And if they're just sitting in a drawer in your house and you never use it and you never look at it and you never touch it, wouldn't it be better if those things went to somebody who would love them and use them and look at it every day and it would bring a smile to their face? And if it is a present, I think that the person who gave it to you, who loves you, would be happier if you could use the money from that item to then have something in your life that is meaningful to you. So that's been kind of a challenge for me, but I've been really working on it and being okay with selling things that were gifted or inherited. And I've had things, I just sold some water bottles and some bite valves for water bottles that my dad gave me in, I don't know, maybe 2018, that were still brand new in the package because I don't use that kind of water bottle. I really like glass water bottles. For whatever reason, I think they're really easy to wash and take care of and pop them in the dishwasher, and I just prefer that. So I had these plastic water bottles that were sitting in my house. And I have moved 3 times since then. They have been sitting in 3 different houses since 2018, just not being used. And now they're with people who are actually gonna use them. And I think that's so much better. So try to be forgiving of yourself if you sell things that were gifted to you. I think it is better for all involved. So other than the things I talked about, I just wanted to tell you guys a few examples of clutter from around my house that I've sold. I already talked about a few things that came up in the other categories, but I just wanted to give you some more examples. So as you're looking through your house, you can think about things that might sell. So I already talked about the free gifts with purchase, the makeup bag, the beauty sponge, the pillowcases, things like that. I also talked about the sunglasses box, the empty box from the sunglasses, and the empty yogurt containers, which was the biggest surprise to me. But here are some other things that in the past 2.5 months I have sold from around my own home. So one good thing is collectibles, any collectibles that you may have. I have a My Little Pony collection, and I had this one pony that has hamburgers and hot dogs on her, and I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian since I was 6 years old. So a My Little Pony with hamburgers and hot dogs on her does not necessarily bring me joy. I do not need the meat covered My Little Pony in my home. So I looked her up on eBay and ended up selling her. I didn't look up the prices for these things that I'm talking about. I'll put them on the screen. So I sold that My Little Pony. I got wonderful feedback from the new buyer who was so happy to have her. Another collectible that I sold was this Breyer horse, which was General E. Lee's Traveler. I have had this horse since I was a little kid. I wanted it because I thought he was a beautiful horse, which he was. But now knowing the history and the context of who that horse happened to belong to in American history, I just didn't feel like he was the horse for me. So I sold him. Other things that are good to sell, as I said with the shoes, the painful shoes, anything that you're just not gonna wear because it hurts. I sold this pair of shoes that hurt my feet. I could not wear them because they were very painful, and I couldn't return them because I wore them out in the woods and they got dirty. So anything like that that you can't return, that was a mistake purchase, great idea. Random other things that I have sold. I had this microphone that I didn't use anymore. I had upgraded to a better microphone. I had used this one for a few years, then I got a better one. I am not using that better one for this video. I'm just using the microphone that's built into my phone, but I have a very nice microphone upstairs. I didn't need this one anymore. Anything you've upgraded, you don't need your old, lesser version lying around your house. You can sell it. And then I had this vase that was a gift. This was one of the ones where I felt, oh, it was a gift. I don't know. It doesn't go with my home. It doesn't go with my aesthetic of my home. It just doesn't match. So I was able to sell that, hopefully to someone where it looks beautiful in their space. Another gifted thing I already talked about were the water bottles and the bite valves that were sitting around in my house for years, and those were new in the package. I will say, if you get a gift and you immediately know that you don't want that gift, but you don't have a gift receipt and you can't return it, if you keep it in the packaging and don't open it, you will make more money because people will pay more for new in-box items. So if somebody gives you a present that you know you don't want and you can't return, keep it in the packaging and sell it. Other things I sold, similar to the microphone, my old Roku stick. I now have a nicer, more new Roku. This was from my old apartment. Sold that. Similarly, you know, once you upgrade something, you can sell the lesser, older version. And then just a couple random things. I had these swimming goggles that I don't use. I talked about them in one of the previous videos. If you want to hear the story of the swimming goggles, sold those. I sold this box of tiny appetizer forks. I think I used them once for a party in maybe 2017 or something, and then have never used them since. I feel like when I have people over, we use regular sized forks. I couldn't foresee a future where I would have guests over and we would need tiny appetizer forks, so I sold those. I think that's kind of it. I think I have been selling some of my Harry Potter merchandise. I think I might do a separate video about that. So look out for a Harry Potter merch specific video. And also at the end of April, I will be doing my overall review of my 3rd month of actively reselling on eBay as a brand new reseller in 2026. So if you want to hear my month 3 in review, all of my sales, all my profits, and my lessons learned this month, keep an eye out for that, probably at the very beginning of May. All right, thank you all so much for being here. I hope this helps you turn your clutter into cash, and happy selling. Bye.